Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you again for joining me on the Sales Influence Podcast. Really appreciate you giving me your time. Today, I want to talk about how do we get better? How do we improve our sales ability, our ability to sell? You know, sometimes when we want to learn about selling, we talk to different coaches and mentors, but sometimes the information is just so overwhelming. There's so many things people want you to work on that you wind up working on none of them. It's like when somebody gives you too many instructions, you just kind of get overwhelmed and go, freak out and you wind up doing nothing. We've all had those conversations, for example, with managers, right? Manager comes up to you and says, hey, I need you to work on this, and this. Like 5 things. And at the end of the day, you may register one, but because you're trying to practice all of them, 1, it's awkward, it doesn't work, or 2, you wind up doing none of them because, again, there's too many things to think about, too many mechanics involved. So what I want to give you is what I call a 12-step plan. It's really a 12-month sales plan for you to become better at selling. That's right. Every month, I want you to work on one thing. That's it, just one thing, or as I like to say, one thing, right? Now, when you work on this one thing, this is all you work on all month. This is all you focus in on. And if every month you focus on something different, 1, you're going to become very good at that one thing you do every month. But over 1 year's time, if you can hang in there with the program, you will be a better salesperson. So I'm going to give you 12 things I want you to work on over the next 12 months. You pick one that you like per month, and that's all you focus in on. So here's the list in no particular order. You can rearrange these any way you want. 1, maybe month 1, you want to spend it on a positive mental attitude. What does that mean? I want you to spend maybe this month working on yourself. You know, creating good habits. I want you to read a book maybe this month on sales or something to improve selling. Watch some videos on YouTube. Whose videos should you watch? Well, start with mine. Or listen as you are listening to this podcast. So this month number 1, is all about a positive mental attitude, creating great habits of learning. Month number 2, you're going to focus on your product or service knowledge. In other words, I want you to know your industry. I want you to know about the costs. I want you to know about the benefits. I want you to focus in on the second month on being an expert, a domain expert in your business. So when people ask you a question, bam, you have their answer. You position yourself as the best. Month number 3, I want you to define your target market. Really find out who people are buying. In other words, what are they buying? Who are your customers? What are they buying? How often do they buy? Understand your customers' buying habits. I want you to define your target market, know their buying habits, okay? Who they're buying from. If they're buying from you, great. What are they buying? How much are they buying? How often are they buying? I want you to really know your target market. Month number 4, maybe you want to work on your sales process, right? You define a sales process. Then you work it a little bit and you refine it just a little more. And maybe you even learn to shorten that sales cycle. So month number 4 is all about your sales process. Month number 5, let's work on your presentation skills, your presentation process. Like when you're talking to the customer, you're meeting them for the first time, or you set up a meeting and you're meeting them for the second time. What do you say? How do you present? What do you show them? You know, in other words, how do you do a demo? In other words, how do you walk through the whole presentation process? That's month number 5. Month number 6. Let's focus on influence and persuasion. Oh, I love that one. In other words, I want you to learn techniques. I want you to learn what to say. I want you to learn how to say it. I want you to know what terms like anchoring mean. How do you frame a conversation? How do you get commitment? How do you understand confirmation bias? These are all influence and persuasion techniques and concepts that you should know. Here's a starting point for learning this. Go to my earlier videos called Sales Influence Moments. A lot of persuasion and influence techniques. Also read books like one of my favorites is Cialdini's book on influence. Or there's another book called Nudge. Or there's another book called Sway. These are all great books on influence and persuasion. So month 6, that's what we're practicing. Month number 7, let's practice on presenting pricing and closing. Let's work on framing pricing. How do we show the customer pricing? When do we show them? Do we show them early? Do we show them in the middle of the presentation? Should we show them pricing towards the end? And when we show them, how do we close the deal? How do we ask for the order? So I want you to study pricing and closing techniques, month number 7. Month number 8, let's work on prospecting. Where do we find new clients? What's your prospecting technique, right? Or techniques. I have a system called the Predictable Prospecting System, which sets you up to actually prospect over time. And when you do it systematically, you're more consistent. So in other words, do you have a prospecting system, a predictable prospecting system? How do you do it? How many people do you contact per day? What do you say? How do you follow up? Do you send them emails? Do you call? Do you, again, anything that you can come up with? What is your prospecting system? That's month number 8. Let's look at month number 9. You're going to focus on pipeline management. In other words, how are you storing your information? Are you using a CRM system, right? A customer relationship management system, to track all your customers. When you call somebody, are you tracking them? And when you put them into your database, into your CRM system, are you keeping up with the notes? Are you managing the notes? In other words, I want you to be able to manage your pipeline. In other words, manage the people who you've touched, who you're going to touch, and make sure all that data is in one place. So get good at managing your data pipeline. Next, month number 10, handling objections. Yes, month number 10, I want you to practice on handling objections. I want you to read books on how to deal with objections. Now remember, you can handle objections, or I like to propose, you can also block objections. Handling objections is when the objection comes up and you have to handle it. Blocking an objection is preempting the objection from being raised, so you're in control of the conversation. So month number 10, I really want you to study everything that has to do with handling or blocking objections. For more information, you can go up my website. You'll see the blocking objection tutorial course. Now, month number 11, love this one. Upselling and cross-selling. One of the biggest ways to increase your revenue quickly, faster, is to go back to your customers and upsell them or cross-sell them. Upselling means you sell them more of what you have sold them in the past or some add-on. Cross-selling means you sell them a totally different product. And again, this is one of the fastest ways to grow your revenues. Number 12. Month number 12, let's work on referrals and follow-ups. For people who we didn't close a deal with, let's follow up. Again, if you have your CRM system, your pipeline management system in place, you can set up a system for following up. But also, let's follow up with clients who've bought from us. And what we're going to do is ask them for referrals. These are people who they're going to refer that you can call up, and they're no longer cold calls, they're warm leads. So again, let's go through all 12. Positive mental attitude. Work on creating great habits. 2, product and service knowledge. Again, become an expert. 3, define your target market. Know who's buying from you, what they're buying, how often are they buying. 4, sales process. Define it, refine it, shorten it. 5, presentation process. Learn what to say, how to say it. 6, persuasion and influence. Learn to use different techniques to move people in the right direction. Month number 7, pricing and closing. Learn how to present price. Learn how to ask for the order. Month number 8, prospecting. How do we get more people into the funnel, into our pipeline? What's your system? 9, pipeline management. How do you store the data? What CRM system are you currently using? How do you manage that information? Become good at that. Month number 10, handling objections, right? How do we handle them? How do we overcome them? How do we even block objections? Month number 11, upselling and cross-selling. One of the fastest ways to grow your revenues is to upsell and cross-sell. Last but not least, month number 12, work on your follow-ups. And more importantly, when you do follow up with customers who have bought, ask them for referrals. This is now your 12-month program. Again, you can choose any order you want, but every month, I want you just to specifically focus on one. And that's it for this Sales Influence podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Let me know what you think. I would greatly appreciate it, as always. Also, check out my sales training website, seminarsonselling.com, where you'll find great training videos for you or your team to help you grow your business. Keep in mind, if you don't improve yourself, your revenues will never improve, right? So if you want to increase your revenue, increase your learning. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.